We've been talking about social sector beneficiaries, and we are talking in all in English. क्या आप लोगों को आपत्ति है कि मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ क्या आपसे? Please thumbs up if you are okay. Thank you very much. नमस्कार, मेरा नाम रॉबिन सरकार है और मैं शिवनाटा फाउंडेशन को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ और इस पैनल डिस्कशन के अंदर हम लोग इक्विटी और इनोवेशंस की बात करना चाहते हैं। तो स्ट्रेट अवे मैं अपने साथी मेंबर से बात करना चाहूँगा और लेडीज़ फर्स्ट से शुरू करते हैं। अनु मैम, आप बताइए, अगर इनोवेशन और इक्विटी की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर, so let me give you a scenario. If I or we happens to give you around 1,000 crore rupees to invest in the education equity in India, this scenario, what would be your best choices? आप कहाँ पे invest करना चाहेंगे in the present scenario?
So thank you, Robin, and just to talk about 1,000 crores that I hope Honda has 1,000 crores. It will be nice, but given a choice, out of the 1,000 crores, possibly 70% would go into infrastructure. Okay. The rest would go into the skilling, right? And when I talk about skilling, okay, why infrastructure is important is, as in the previous, the panelists, they talked about, the importance of education. How do I look at it? I look at it in the form that, if we educate a child, we are actually educating the whole family, right? And we are taking care of their livelihood, because education finally ends in employment, right? So that's how we look at it. And if I were to look at, education in that particular manner, I think that given the fact that we have a huge number of children who are going without education, and the government schools are also not in a shape where they can actually take care of the needs of children. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to work on developing the infrastructure in such a manner that it enables education. So therefore, first would be, working on the infrastructure of the schools or the colleges. The second part would be skilling. So in terms of skilling, when we talk about skilling, I will explain to you as to how, we look at it and how, it has impacted in the past 5-6 years that we've been working in the skilling space. When we made the schools, that is when we actually developed the infrastructure, the second aspect came in, ki hardware to hai, what about software, right? So software is children, software is teachers, software is principals of the schools that we work in. So therefore, what we did was we straight away adopted the schools that we've made, right? And when I say adoption, so today they run better than most of the public schools that I can think of, in terms of academics, in terms of looking at extracurricular activities, in terms of promoting sports, in terms of promoting value education, in terms of promoting career counseling, in terms of making sure that they have enough education and enough, academic performance so that they can actually go into colleges and from there get into employment. So you name it, and we are trying to do everything in that particular place. And enabled through technology. The previous panel, somebody was talking about, the enabler, technology being a big enabler. I have actually seen it in the schools that we have adopted. The way technology has actually helped in shaping the students better. So that's how I would like to divide it into.
थैंक यू वेरी मच मैम। मैं आपके पास वापस आऊँगा ये जानने के लिए कि आपने स्पेसिफिकली इंफ्रा क्यों चुना, लेकिन बिफोर आई कम टू यू आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट द सेम क्वेश्चन टू यू। अगर हम आपके पास 1,000 करोड़ सप्लाई कर पाएँ किसी तरह से, तो आप कहाँ पे इन्वेस्ट करना चाहेंगे एज एजुकेशन सेक्टर के अंदर इंडिया में?
Thank you, Ravinji. Actually, thank you for making the foundation reach, at least virtually. And since I have a long list, I have noted down some points. तो सबसे पहला 1,000 करोड़ में से जो 250 crores I would like to allocate in initiative which is a first 1,000 days intervention आप बोल सकते हैं, which is maybe your first day to the 1,000 day kind of, because as we all know, उस time पे there are 1 million synaptic connections per second. The brain is, provided there is sufficient nutrition, and if there are enough stimulus given at the appropriate time, so I think आपका जो ये social return on investment will be the highest. So I would like to allocate 25% of it in the first 1,000 days. Brain development means your sensory pathways, your language development, your higher cognitive functions, everything put together. So that is one significant area. Second area जो बहुत ही relevant है and everybody is experiencing, we have started talking about it, but climate action एक curriculum के जरिए, if we can bring it into the schools, because we are on the verge of, breaching the planetary boundary conditions. The 6 out of the 9 conditions have already we have transgressed. So some urgent action is needed. And from the education point of view, what best than making it an integral action-oriented curriculum in schools. So another 100 crores goes for this. And then of course, since we are a EdTech organization as SchoolNet, so innovative tech-first approaches which democratizes both access, quality and inclusion. And typically एक under-resourced learning community को दिमाग में रखते हुए अगर innovation, technology innovation हम लोग सोच पाते हैं, it generally works in generally good resourced learning community as well. So, and when I say technology, hardware and more than hardware, now the software part of it is something I would like to allocate another 100 crores there. Teacher empowerment is another, as a kind of a design principle, teacher ka empowerment, and in this country teachers are generally abused because of lack of quality and stuff like that. But at least if you look at the Pareto principle, at least 20% of teachers in our country are resourceful, highly creative. If we can provide a platform and handhold and build a community of practice, I think wonders could be achieved. I would like to allocate another 100 crores for teacher development. Community learning spaces, because there is SHG, women SHGs, there are underutilized capacities. They can act as edupreneurs actually. So if we can build community learning centers in a strategic manner, then it can actually act as a kind of a fallback system. Another area which is very similar to public education system is your affordable private schools. And I think they also need to be capacitated in multiple ways. Technology, non-technology, teachers, infra, everything put together. So 100 crores I would like to allocate. And finally, from the point of view of intervention, your alternate vocational pathways, skills at schools is an area where we would like to invest 50 crores. And there are a lot of initiatives like your large computerizations, large LMS system, large command control centers. So if we can also chip in a little bit of contribution of 50 crores in those, what I call as impact multipliers. So that could be a kind of a thing. Another 100 crores I would allocate for just new ideas from social entrepreneurs who would like to experiment new things in education. right? That's a kind of a seed fund, one might say. And of course, to do all this, you need at least a lean PMU, right? So 50 crores to ensure portfolio management, capacity enhancement, and also measuring the impact, what is working, what is not working. And in that process, perhaps if we can simplify the management style, complicated mail formats for the implementing organization so that they can go ahead and execute. That is how I would like to spend the 1,000 crores.
वाओ, एक राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज बिकॉज ये आपने पूरा पोर्टफोलियो बना दिया यहाँ पर. वेरी नाइस. अच्छा, मेरे पास बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं इसके लिए भी, लेकिन मैं पहले आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा अनुमान कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आपने चुना 70% के लिए, तो क्या आपको प्रेरित करता है कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, क्या आपने ग्राउंड में ऐसा देखा जिसकी वजह से इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे आपने चुना? दूसरा इसी से रिलेटेड, बिकॉज हम लोग इनोवेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, उस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में आप किस तरह का इनोवेशन देना चाहेंगे?
Okay, so let's talk about infrastructure. So when we started off with the education project, and it was a greenfield for us as Honda. So we started working in one of the schools, which is a girls' school, and it is in Rajasthan. And you'd be aware that Rajasthan is such that वहाँ पे मिट्टी की जगह हर जगह रेत होती है ज़्यादातर, है ना? So first was I was scouting around looking for some government school to work on, and I went around, saw some 5 to 6 schools, and then I was told about a school which is like a girls' school and which is running out of a particular place. And I was told कि आप इसको जाके, we virtually stopped by the school management committee member on my way back to office, and he said, come please see the school. I said, okay, let me go and see with you. And when I saw that school, I don't know whether we can play the video for you or not, but then when I went and actually saw the school, it was in a place where, it was a small place which was as big as possibly this hall, and it had some random rooms. They were not even rooms, and there were approximately around 550 girls studying in that school. So वो कहने के लिए स्कूल था, लेकिन एक्चुअली वो स्कूल नहीं था, वो किसी का घर था जिसमें उन्होंने कुछ सेक्शंस क्रिएट कर रखे थे और वहाँ पे ही वो बच्चियाँ पढ़ रही थी, और कुछ क्लासेस जो हैं 1-2 पेड़ों के नीचे हो रही थी. That is where we thought that is where I thought that infrastructure is very very important, and then teachers पढ़ा रहे हैं उसी माहौल में, government teachers हैं पढ़ा रहे हैं. So then they said, can you do something in this particular area and renovate this particular school? I said, as Honda, I'm not going to do renovation here, but अगर मेरे को आसपास कोई land donate करता है villager, तो उसके ऊपर हम school ज़रूर बनाएंगे as Honda. So therefore, what they did was, the villagers were very very proactive. What they did was, उन्होंने 15-20 दिन के अंदर एक piece of land, जिसमें एक piece of land जो है एक farmer की है और एक piece of land जो है वो मंदिर समिति की थी, उन दोनों को मिला के उन्होंने हमें area मुझे जो है बुला के दिखाया. वो area काफ़ी बड़ा था, and उस area में 2.5 एकड़ का land था. It was an agricultural land, and they said that what we can possibly do is, अगर आप okay करते हैं तो हम इसको institutional land में convert करके आपको दे दें. मैंने कहा आप करवाइए इसको institutional land में convert, हम इसको यहाँ पे हम बनाएंगे. Then it was converted into an institutional land, and then we made the school. In fact, if you go on YouTube and you search for the video, you will see the video of a girl called Bismillah, and she talks about her story also, wherein you can see the old school and you can also see the new school. So a new school was built, and the new school was made in such a manner that it had the capacity of not just 500 or 600 students, but approximately around 1100 students to study. Number one. Number two, because we were doing it in Rajasthan. अब राजस्थान में हर जगह रेत बहुत होती है, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल रहेगा finally at the end of the day, right? So cleaning will become an issue. So while construction of the school, we made sure that हमने 8 या 10 ट्रक मिट्टी के यूपी से राजस्थान में उस वाले लैंड पे डाले ताकि वहाँ पे ग्रास ग्रो करे, स्कूल के आसपास और वहाँ पे मिट्टी उड़ने का कोई या रेत उड़ने का कोई चांस ना हो। छोटी छोटी चीज़ें बता रही हूँ लेकिन बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है। देन वी रियलाइज कि गवर्नमेंट स्कूल है और इतना बड़ा स्कूल बना के दे रहे हैं, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के बिल का बड़ा इशू होना शुरू हो जाएगा कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का बिल कौन पे करेगा, राइट? सोलर ऊपर लगवाया सो दैट एटलीस्ट वो वाला इशू नहीं आए। एंड सोलर इसलिए भी लगवाया क्योंकि while making this particular concept, I actually thought that what we should do is we should do digital enablement also of the school, and we should make sure that we have computer education in the school. Normally राजस्थान के स्कूल्स में, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में कंप्यूटर एजुकेशन वर्चुअली ज़ीरो थी। आज हमारे बच्चे जो हैं, जो स्कूल में हैं पिछले 4-5 साल से, वो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट पावरपॉइंट, एक्सेल, वर्ड वगैरह तो उनके लिए बड़ी आम बात है। वो कंप्यूटर पे एप्लीकेशंस और कंप्यूटर गेम्स बना लेते हैं। सो सस्टेनेबिलिटी इज लुक्ड एट एज अ कॉन्सेप्ट वेयर वी से दैट आपने किया और उसके बाद आप एग्जिट हो गए और वो अपने आप चल रहा है। सॉरी, इट इज़ नॉट ऑल दैट ईजी, राइट? आई ऑल्सो लुक एट सस्टेनेबिलिटी इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वे कि आप अगर एजुकेशन इम्पार्ट करके एम्प्लॉयमेंट तक और बच्चे को पढ़ा के उस लेवल पे लेके जाते हो कि वो कल को जॉब कर लेती है एंड वो अपनी पूरी फैमिली को सपोर्ट कर लेती है, उससे बढ़िया सस्टेनेबिलिटी का कोई एग्जाम्पल नहीं है। तो हम खाली अगर उसको उस फॉर्म में देख रहे हैं कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बना दिया और उसके बाद में सस्टेनेबल मतलब मेंटेनेंस इज देयर प्रॉब्लम, यू नो, soft part is there, is the government's problem. No, sorry, government also has its own issues, right? They also have limited funds, right? So if as corporates we can support them and support them in such a manner that we are able to build India along with the government, I think that's the best way in which we can support.
Very nicely said, ma'am. Very nicely said. बेसिकली आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप करिए लेकिन उसको लोकल लेवल पे इनोवेट भी कीजिए। अगर ग्रास नहीं है तो उसको आप लोकल लेवल पे छोटी छोटी चीज़ों का लेके आइए। तो आपकी नज़र में इनोवेशन जो है वो लोकल लेवल पे सार्थक साबित होता है, राइट? ग्रेट। तो मैं आपके पास आपकी लंबी लिस्ट जो पोर्टफोलियो की है उसमें से एक चीज़ चुनना चाहूँगा। आपने दो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग इनोवेशन की बात करी। एक पहले कहा कि फर्स्ट 1000 डेज, इसके बारे में बहुत थोड़ा सा और ज़्यादा बताइए। फर्स्ट 1000 डेज प्रोग्राम क्या है और आप क्या सोचते हैं इस बारे में, क्योंकि ये मुझे लग रहा है कि एक अपने आप में एक इनोवेशन है।
So the first 1000 days, I mean from the newborn, when the child is born, we need to understand the first day is more important than the second day. The first month is more important than the second month, and so first year and the next year. So along with proper nutrition, with the stimuli, if you can work, then these basic functions of the brain, the capacity of the brain, the cognition capacity of the brain actually reaches a level which helps them to achieve great appropriate learning outcomes and also whatever in the formal schooling system. In our country, there exists a system of 3 A's. We all know that. Your A&M, the ASHA and the Anganwadi workers, and they actually reach out to every household of mothers and the newborn. And unfortunately, the narrative stops at nutrition. If we can just impart that knowledge which already exists in an innovative manner in the families, that how this stimulus helps in this entire process, and this is completely sustainable because the government has already put in that heavy investment in the form of manpower and the budgets. It's the just making those knowledge connection to enable the system, so that this after 1000 days you get into Anganwadi system, and then ideally the thing should fall in place from there.
डू यू हैव ए स्ट्रक्चर? आप अपने स्कूल नेट के प्रोग्राम के अंदर क्या इस तरह के कोई प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं अभी या करने की सोच रहे हैं?
We are thinking, but what I thought is I will go beyond what we do. We generally work with the Anganwadi systems, and in order to work with the Anganwadi systems, sometimes we have to reach the community. When we reach the community, we reach all these 3 key ambassadors, the 3 A's as we spoke about, the A&M, Zasha, and and in the every village has a village level opinion maker. So through those community interaction, we have done it in a, I would say, in a pilot manner. We would like to make it a largish systemic kind of a intervention and work with multiple stakeholders.
ग्रेट, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच। इनोवेशन को हम लोग किस तरह से देखते हैं, पता है इनोवेशन का और इन्वेंशन में जो फ़र्क है, इन्वेंशन में आप नई चीज़ डेवलप कर रहे हैं, कुछ नया R&D करके निकालेंगे, लेकिन इनोवेशन आपको एग्जिस्टिंग चीज़ों को अलग अलग तरह से अटैच करके, इकट्ठा करके एक नया डेवलपमेंट निकालने के लिए होता है। फॉर एग्जांपल, आप लोगों ने MP3 म्यूज़िक पहले ही पता होगा सबको, और एक ऐसा डिवाइस जो MP3 म्यूज़िक स्टोर कर सके ये भी पता होगा सबको, लेकिन इन दोनों को जब कंबाइन करके आईपॉड निकाला गया तो वो एक अपने आप में इनोवेशन था। तो इनोवेशन को के लिए आपको नया चीज़ इन्वेंट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती, लेकिन आपको एक ही चीज़ को दूसरे नज़रिए से देखने की ज़रूरत पड़ती है। तो दैट इज़ द डेफिनेशन ऑफ इनोवेशन। और वहाँ पर अगर हम लोग एजुकेशन की बात करें तो वहाँ पर भी एक चीज़ बार बार सामने आ रही है कि आप ग्राउंड रियलिटी में क्या देखते हैं और उसके हिसाब से अपनी चीज़ों को किस तरह से ढालते हैं, आप वहाँ पर एक अपने आप में इनोवेशन कर पाएंगे। मेरा एक नेक्स्ट सवाल रहता है कि अगर आपको मैं इस पोर्टफोलियो से कुछ चीज़ पिकअप करने के लिए बोलूँ तो आप क्या चूज़ करेंगे?
So I think I will pick Anganwadis because we already, have a lot of work which is happening.
And why?
Yeah. So see, Anganwadi and Anganwadis and we work very closely with the community on education as well as health. दोनों areas को हम देखते हैं। अभी हम कुछ दिन पहले ही जो है वो कोई रिक्वेस्ट आया था कि आंगनबाड़ी के लिए जो है कुछ सपोर्ट चाहिए। तो नॉर्मली क्या सपोर्ट चाहिए होते हैं? सपोर्ट ये चाहिए होते हैं कि आंगनबाड़ी में जो है आप वो कुछ टॉयज़ दे दीजिए, कुछ बुक्स दे दीजिए, कुछ ये कर लीजिए, कुछ वो कर लीजिए। Sorry, that is a very, very superficial way of doing a CSR activity according to me, right? So essentially, what we need to do is, when it comes to Anganwadi workers, when it comes to ASHA workers, when it comes to people who are working and serving the community through the government, right? How can we equip them better, So that is something that we are already doing. Let me give you an example of what we do, right? So we have Anganwadi workers and we have ASHA workers in all the villages, right? And there are some villages that have been adopted by Honda. So in those villages, whether it is skill up, whether it is life skills training, whether it is something like, helping them with telling them the best ways of, making sure that how the childbirth happens, even if it happens in a home, it happens properly, or if it should ideally happen in a hospital, a government hospital if they can't afford a private hospital. So going to the grassroots, enabling them, teaching them the best ways, because possibly there are certain things that we are very much aware of, which might be something that maybe the government is unable to, reach out to them, right? Or if they're also trying, they're trying in a very small way, right? So we can add on to that and we can become support for them. Just to give you a small example, we have a initiative called Swabhiman. That Swabhiman initiative is basically working on preventive health of women and girls, right? So in that initiative, we work very, very closely with ASHA and Anganwadi workers, and it is basically enabling them to deliver better, do better. Even if it means, supporting them with a lot of infrastructure, supporting them with skill education and things like that. And therefore, we become a bridge between them and the government.
मैम, इसमें डिफरेंट क्या किया आपने, अगर वो थोड़ा सा बता पाए उसके अंदर कि जो what made this program a different program than any other training program?
Okay, the first thing is, which is very, very different, is it is not a corrective thing. We also do health camps, but I think health camps are very, very corrective in nature. तबीयत खराब हो गई, health camp में चले गए, जाके दवाई लेकर आ गए, और हमने enable कर दिए वो health camps, और उन health camps में जाके लोग दवाइयाँ लेकर आ गए. can we do something on the preventive front? Can we make sure that people don't fall ill, right? Can we do something on the fact that there are no fatal deaths of children in the villages, right? So what do we do for that? So I'll give you a small example. एक हमारी हम जहाँ पे काम करते हैं, जिन villages में काम करते हैं, वहाँ पे एक lady थी जिनके 2 miscarriages already हो चुके थे और उसके बाद हमने होंडा का हेल्थ सेंटर उस विलेज में लगाया। तो वहाँ पे हम लाइफ स्किल्स ट्रेनिंग, न्यूट्रिशन के ऊपर बहुत सारी वर्कशॉप्स करते थे कि क्या अच्छा खाना चाहिए। फिर उसमें हमने लोगों को बुलाना शुरू किया और वहाँ पे बताना शुरू किया कि the ladies who are pregnant, so you know what medicines they should take, where they should take them from, and in case it is lacking तो उनको बताया कि ठीक है आप हेल्थ के सेंटर में जाके लीजिए। और उसके बाद में गवर्नमेंट का एक ना मातृत्वता का ममता कार्ड होता है जिसमें which is something like which is similar to what happens in case of people like us, right, that we have a card which keeps on which tells us कि ये supplements आपने खाने हैं इन महीनों में और ये आपने injections वगैरह लेने हैं। तो similar kind of a thing is there with the government also, and they also support through nutrition. They give nutrition on a monthly basis, right? The government gives nutrition on a monthly basis to all these pregnant females, right? लोगों को पता ही नहीं है, believe you me, the villagers don't know about it. So telling them about it, educating them about it, and then making sure that they go to the health center and take those from them, right? So this lady who had 2 miscarriages, this time we handholded her in throughout the pregnancy, and she had a absolutely okay delivery, and uska baby jo hai wo abhi 2 या 3 महीने का है and is absolutely fine. So that is the kind of deliverable which is very, very different. So when we started off this particular initiative, I'll also talk about menstruation. So we work on very lots of taboo issues, right? So menstruation के ऊपर जब हम काम करते थे तो हमने शुरू जब किया तो एक सर्वे किया to find out कि how many are using sanitary napkins, right, in the villages. It was just 38%. So what we started was 38% was a very small number, right? So we said, okay, we'll educate on using sanitary napkins, and also we will distribute. But then we distributed only for 2 years. Once it became a habit, we withdrew that. Repercussion आया कि आप लोगों ने हटा लिए, ये है वो है, लेकिन आज भी 95% लोगों ने जो है वो they have switched from cloth and all the things that they used to do to sanitary napkins. So ground level पे there is a lot that can happen. There is a lot which can happen. Only thing is that you have to actually connect with the crowd and actually make sure that whether it is you working directly as a corporate through an NGO or whether it is government workers, you deliver what is supposed to be delivered.
Thank you. So एक चीज समझ आ रही है जैसे corrective if I say philanthropy या फिर corrective social work की जगह पे creative social work अगर किया जाए और एक ही चीज को दूसरे perspective से देखा जाए तो it can be better for the end user.
Absolutely.
शौर्य जी आपके पास दोबारा आएंगे एक बार और मैडम ने 70% इंफ्रा 30% स्किलिंग चुना था। आपकी कंपनी स्कूल ने काफ़ी टाइम से और उनका स्किलिंग के ऊपर काफ़ी पकड़ रही है। तो मैं जानना चाहूँगा कि फर्स्ट कि आप इन दोनों में से क्या चुनेंगे अगर आपको अगर ये चुनना हो तो, और दूसरा थोड़ा सा स्कूलनेट की स्किलिंग की जर्नी के बारे में बताइए और उसके अंदर के इनोवेटिव मेजर्स जो आपने लिए उसके बारे में बताइए।
So, thank you, Anu ma'am. I would like to take everything that is on offer, both infrastructure and skilling, because I think you got a very good angle about bringing in that very different definition of sustainability. So that definitely something which all of us in all the intervention we can loop that in, and of course skilling. SchoolNet has a kind of a separate special purpose vehicle with NSDC. It's called LearnNet. The genesis of skilling for us actually happened in something else. A group company of ours was setting up infrastructure, industrial infrastructure, by aggregating small, medium, micro industries, bringing them together and sector focus, textile parks, leather parks, electronic manufacturing sector. So it's a kind of a cluster development model of setting up. So while we were doing this and we could get good anchor investors and everything, what the industry wanted was where are the skilled manpower? So there was nothing. On the other hand, there is rampant unemployment or kind of skill variance, right? So we managed to tie on one hand the unemployment issue by providing a kind of upgraded skilling, very verticalized, simulated skilling, and making the employment or the job guarantees as a surety and putting them in these parks. That was the genesis. And eventually we also, and largely these were in the blue and gray collar segment. We particularly focused on the first 1 decade on the school dropouts, college dropouts. There is opportunity cost. Within 30 days, can we make this person absolutely ready to enter the job market? That was the challenge for ourselves. And will the industry pay a delta for that, right? So we have done it at some scale. More than 1 million young adults and youth have been trained and placed in the industry through this skilling effort. Now we are also looking at ways to move up the value chain of getting into the college employment kind of an opportunity there, because there remains an existing very huge skill gap in the college graduate employability. And there we are trying to do it in a blended manner. So we are not restricted by the physical delivery of skilling centers. We are going blended using the kind of an hybrid approach wherever it is feasible. Some things you need that touch and feel and the hard skills, what is called. Whatever else can be handled through virtual delivery platforms, we are doing it in a blended manner. That's the journey for us.
एक क्वेश्चन आप दोनों से रहेगा. अगर आप इनोवेशन करते हैं तो सबसे बड़ा फियर आपको क्या लगता है कि what would be your biggest hurdle when you think of something new or something different than usual, in your opinion?
So I'll come back to the school that we made. So it was a girls' school, and जैसे मैंने बताया कि पहले वो जब शुरू किया प्रोजेक्ट तो वहाँ just 550 girls पढ़ रही थी existing school में. So I was asked by my manager, like a typical corporate, right? And we are a Japanese corporate, so everything has to be measurable, right? So I was told by my director and asked by my director, Anu, ये तुमने 1100 की कैपेसिटी का स्कूल तो बना दिया, कब तक 1100 की कैपेसिटी पे पहुंचेगा, right? Because that's the main deliverable, right? So I said, hopefully, sir, 1.5 to 2 years, right? But because it was infrastructure, it was far beyond expectations, and within 20 kilometers of vicinity, it was the only girls' school. Within 4 to 5 months, from 550, when we shifted these 550 girls into the new school, we went up to 1100 in just 4 to 5 months' time. And so, just to answer your question, so रिस्क बहुत बड़ा था क्योंकि स्कूल बहुत बड़ा बना हुआ है, तो ये लगा कि पता नहीं गवर्नमेंट भी उतना सपोर्ट करेगी कि नहीं. बट साइमल्टेनियसली हमने गवर्नमेंट के साथ में बात करनी शुरू की, काम करना शुरू किया, उनके साथ में डिस्कशंस करने शुरू किए. सो व्हाट हैज़ हैपेंड इज एक फियर जो एलिवेट हो गया, जो ख़त्म हो गया, was कि there are approximately around 1300 girls who are studying in this school and overflow करता है स्कूल हर साल एडमिशन्स के लिए हमें काटने पड़ते हैं. कैन यू हैव यू एवर हर्ड कि गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में अपने परसेंटेज के बेसिस पे या अटेंडेंस के बेसिस पे काट दिए स्टूडेंट्स के नहीं हम आपको एडमिशन नहीं दे सकते. एडमिशन की वहाँ पे इतनी ज़्यादा इशू रहता है कि there are people pushing and there are many politicians also pushing a lot of students into the school. So we take on a merit basis. Now, that led to the fact that the donor who had given us the land for the school, he was so very happy to look at the school running so well. He said, मैडम अगर आप बनाओगे एज होंडा तो मैं थोड़ा और लैंड डोनेट करता हूँ, आप कॉलेज बनाइए। तो अभी हम कॉलेज बना रहे हैं जिसमें 2000 बच्चियां जो हैं वो पढ़ेंगी, एंड इट्स अ गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज। वी विल ओनली अगेन अडॉप्ट इट एज होंडा एंड रन इट अलॉन्ग विद द गवर्नमेंट। सो वी हैव नॉट टेकन द एजेंडा ऑफ डूइंग इट आवरसेल्व्स। आगे गवर्नमेंट ही है, हम साथ में इतना सपोर्ट लगा देते हैं, जहाँ वहाँ पे सपोर्ट लगा देते हैं जहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट की अपनी रेस्ट्रिक्शंस है।
थैंक यू वेरी मच मोहन सर। सेम क्वेश्चन, लेकिन इसमें पूछना चाहूँगा कि आप ऑडियंस को क्या सजेशन देना चाहेंगे कि एक इनोवेशन करते टाइम पे किस तरह के हर्डल्स आते हैं और किस तरह से उसको एड्रेस किया जा सकता है?
वेल, इनोवेशन का फ्लिप साइड है, इट्स बाउंड टू फेल most of the time. So that you need to remove that sense of fear, and that actually I'm very thankful in the organization or in the group or wherever I have worked personally and as an ecosystem organization, we never shied away from innovation. There are 100 things we tried out, maybe 3 or 4 actually sustained, right? But once it picks up, no, so be fearless in terms of, at the same time be realistic as to don't get shattered if it doesn't work out or doesn't fail. I'll take an example of we work very closely with schools and teachers. So 25 years back, I think we were one of the first, I would say, organizations to bring in what HCL and others were trying to do in technology-aided curriculum. So when SchoolNet was formed, we started developing content, right? And then we were struggling to find a kind of a purpose-built teacher device. So for dissemination of that content, there were variety of technology, computer, projector, this, video cam, but a 40 minutes class, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes goes in just setting things. Teacher is not confident enough. We actually innovated, researched, took the risk. We saw this kind of a prototype in IIT Bombay with a professor of industrial design, Professor Kirti Trivedi. We took the risk, we tried it out, and it's a kind of a phenomena. Kian, the knowledge vehicle. So like this, we work with Oil India in the Duliajan, Dibrugarh, Northeast Assam. And in their own area, there are schools where actually they haven't seen any computing, we were discussing, computing device, there is no electricity. So we actually designed 10, 12 years back kind of computer buses for both technology education and technology aided core curricular education. So it's a kind of a schools on wheels, about 10 such buses ran in the community. So like that, there are many things which we tried out but might have not reached to its logical conclusion. But we generally try out and keep trying.
थैंक यू। आप फियर ऑफ फेलियर से ऊपर जाने की बात कर रहे हैं, राइट? राइट। हमारे पास लास्ट के 1.5 मिनट बचे हैं, तो आप कुछ टिप देना चाहेंगे ऑडियंस को फ्रॉम योर एक्सपीरियंस इन द फील्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन एज वेल एज इनोवेशन?
I don't know the constitution of the audience here, but if you are mostly, from the corporates, so, I will say that please do try and do things differently from what the world is doing. It is all doable. Of course, there's always a risk in anything that we do, right? In fact, the job that we do has its own risks, right? So, so you should not be deterred by risks. Only thing that we can possibly do is, if we want more successes, we need to do a lot of detailing earlier as to what will work and what will not work, and then progress on doing a particular activity or taking up a CSR project. If you are from NGOs who are, helping us, enabling us, and collaborating with corporates, what I would say is, please understand your corporate. Not all the corporates are the same. There are some corporates like us who will dive deep into everything and do it along with you, right? So give them that leverage, right? You bring some expertise, right? But we bring the expertise of being a multinational, right? Or doing things our way, right? So I have experienced is in our education project, our NGO and us, just to talk about our NGO, so Smile Foundation works with us on the education front. What we were 5 years back as a partner and what we are today, we are sort of inseparables, and they learn from us and we learn from them. So that's what my advice would be.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Sir, one tip.
Yeah, so the biggest tip is one should definitely go and pursue lunch. And finally, as you said, innovation, more than innovation, since the space that we are in, education, equity, essentially development sector, I think innovation can also happen not through competition, but also through collaboration sometimes. I think we need to actually open our arms and be a little bit more collaborative and work in a kind of an ecosystem approach. We are still, it's a very disparate country, and there are pockets of abject poverty, and the indices are worse than even sub-Saharan Africa, right? So there is strength in collectivization.
थैंक यू वेरी मच. मेरे पास भी एक चीज़ है बोलने के लिए. देर इज़ इनिशिएटिव एंड जो NGOs काम करते हैं, जो फिलंथ्रॉफीज काम करती है, वो बहुत इनिशिएटिव्स लेते हैं, बहुत पैशनेट होते हैं अपने काम को लेके. लेकिन हमेशा इनिशिएटिव लेने से बात नहीं बनती है. कभी कभी बात बन भी जाती है और अच्छा काम हो भी जाता है, लेकिन इनिशिएटिव शुड ऑलवेज फॉलो थ्रू प्रोसेसेस. अगर आप इनिशिएटिव्स को प्रोसेसेस में चेंज नहीं करेंगे तो आपके इनिशिएटिव्स आगे जाके उसी तरह के रिजल्ट्स नहीं लेके आ सकते. ये मैं अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस से बोल रहा हूँ. जब हम लोग ग्राउंड में काम करते हैं, जब हम लोग गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में काम करते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग, मेरी टीम के लोग अलग अलग तरह के इनिशिएटिव्स लेते हैं, लेकिन वो इनिशिएटिव्स तभी कारगर साबित होते हैं जब वो दूसरे लोग भी ले पाए. इसलिए इनिशिएटिव्स को प्रोसेसेस में चेंज करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो दैट्स माय टिप टू लवली ऑडियंस ओवर हियर. आई विल जस्ट ओपन अप फॉर द क्वेश्चंस. अगर आपके पास क्वेश्चन है, प्लीज़ अपना हाथ खड़ा कीजिए, हम लोग अपना माइक वहाँ तक पहुँचाएंगे. Yes, lady over there and a lady over here.
Okay, first of all, thank you for a very, very interesting session that Anu ma'am and sir. I have a question. I'm from Giftable and working for the people with disabilities, okay? And we're working from 0 to 45 years of individuals and children. So I want to know whether any initiative was taken for the children with disabilities or for the youth of disabilities in education that we can replicate. Yeah?
Okay. So I'll say sorry in the sense that we currently don't do anything on the disability front. So, but then in the past 4 to 5 years, we've had a lot of NGOs coming and presenting to us about people with disabilities. And for next year, yes, I think we have something which is lined up for disabilities as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lady over here.
Hi, I'm Tinu. I represent Transition Research. Thank you for the amazing discussion and for the amazing panel here. So my question is more towards climate action. So I would like to know, Anu ma'am, is Honda working towards anything related to climate action? And also to Mr. Chatterjee, so you said that you are trying to include something towards climate action in the curriculum. So is there any innovative methods that you have experimented with or trying to explore? Thank you.
We'll start with you, sir.
We have actually started to put a kind of a curriculum which will go into the schools, and for which we are collaborating with this organization called Global Learning Council. They are a kind of a think tank on education, and we are trying to bring in a kind of a climate action orientation in schools. And so there is a set curriculum, there is a teacher intervention, and through that process we are also thinking of doing a pan-India hackathon event, which some real life use cases of workable solutions to address various factors which is contributing to the climate change through this hackathon, it is targeted for all school children, the middle and the secondary level. So that is scheduled in January in Delhi, but it is open for pan India. So we are looking for ideas, and we are looking at a curriculum which has a global kind of a context, but it is relevant for India.
Honda on disability, climate.
So, because as Honda, we make cars and we also are reasons for creating pollution. So therefore, we do work on the climate part or the environment part for, so what we do is mainly in the field of afforestation, and there is a lot of work which happens around planting of trees and making sure that the environment within 10 to 15 kilometers of our vicinity of the plants is in a good shape. Primarily 10 to 15 kilometers because of paucity of funds. But then for next year, we have planned Miyawaki forests in both UP and Rajasthan. And we are currently in the state where we are deciding with the government about the land, and also developing the concept of Miyawaki forest with the possible contenders who will be working with us. So in case you're not aware about the Miyawaki forest, normal forest normally takes around 100 years to develop fully, right? So Miyawaki forests are made in such a manner that they develop within 10 years. The growth of the trees is equivalent to a 100-year forest. So that is what we will be working on. And also we have in the past restored a lot of ponds and cleaned them up, and done a lot of work on pond restoration.
Thank you very much. One last question in the interest of time. Yes, gentlemen, please. Mike, sir, please, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you for such a wonderful discussion. My name is Syed Danish Ali. I come from New Equitable and Innovative Educational Association. I have a very important question. Like, we are addressing the barriers in education, right? So there is one critical issue जो अभी news में भी काफी आया, print में भी आया, that के जो मदरसे के बच्चे हैं, उनको education नहीं मिल रही है, because they are only focusing on Islamic education. There is no mainstream education. So what the corporates are planning for that? Do they have any option for addressing this challenge which is there? Because that's a minority, right? There are children, they have the right for education.
So can I answer that?
Yeah, please.
The school in which we are working, the school that I am talking about, has 1,300 girls, right? 70% of them are from minority.
Great, great. But what about the children who
So
are
it
there
is
in
not
madrasas?
going to the madrasas, but it is bringing all the children together and making them study together, and bringing up equitable kind of education platform for everyone.
So, but if someone has a model which is affordable, which is accessible, and which can be implemented across India, will the corporate come forward for that?
Probably, sir. I would like to take it from here. Shiksha Initiative works on field in government as well as in community, government schools and as well as community. In couple of communities, we are actually working with inside madrasa, where we are working on the fundamental literacy and numeracy of those children who are actually studying in madrasa. However, there is a catch here that madrasa access is excuse me. Its access is only enabled because of the local intervention over there. The local stakeholders, the local players of the village who are interested to teach their children outside education other than madrasa also. So on a larger level, as long as this is inside the government law, inside the purview of the constitution, we would like to, if there is some solution, we would like to experiment with that, but we would not go overboard and create a national movement of removing people from there. I mean, because having a madrasa is also within the purview of constitution. It's not outside it. So, having said that, if the community allows and if the community is interested, then the corporate or the social worker would be interested to work over there also.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. With that, thank you very much. for your patience and listening to us.